Pizza, what's going on? How you doing? Kiora, what's going on? Skyward, how you doing? Now, I've got some minor news. I don't know if it's going to apply as heavily as I think it would for this stream. But yesterday, after the stream ended, because we had to cut it short due to Comcast reasons once again, but I went down to my Best Buy and I got a Ethernet over power adapter. And looking at the speeds that it gives me in my room as far away as I am from my router on this computer, it gives me a more stable connection. And hopefully that will persist throughout the rest of these streams that I'm trying to do, but fingers crossed at the very least. SM Harbinger, Game Boy, how y'all doing? Trying to find a roommate, trying to find roommates with an S, plural, is pain? I would imagine it would be. But I think it is enough time for us to continue. Last time we were here yesterday, after we finished the 12 minutes section that we had left, we came back to Ace Attorney and we finished up the trial, right? We had proved beyond reasonable doubt that Gino was innocent, that it was actually the work of Mr. Eggert Benedict, alias
Welcome to the family, son.
Ashley Graydon.
Hope you find some roommates, Game Boy Aid.
And speaking of hoping we find some things, back for the 8 months. Found quite nicely. Thank you for sticking with us for that time. Appreciate it all the more, Ab. But Mr. Ashley Graydon was actually the culprit, as proven by the evidence, who during at some point in the trial made a deal with Inspector Gregson about the contents of the artifacts that Magnus McGilded was depositing at Windibanks, namely being government secrets that he came across in the communication station where he worked, and was selling them to Magnus McGilded for a handsome fee. He enlisted the help of his father, Mr. Mason Milverton, to help make these discs and manufacture them for sale. And when he started getting a little bit wary about why he was making these discs, Mason Milverton made his very first interactions with Magnus McGilded and was killed on the omnibus. And so that is the true secret of what was being held at Windibank's shop. The music box, which plays 2 music discs, being Morse code, and reveals some form of government secrets. We still don't know what exactly it means. Nobody has translated it. Gregson has been trying to keep it super hush-hush and wrapped up, but last time did get to the end of the trial, so now we're kind of just going through the very end. This is going to be the finale of the game. And now Graydon's giving us this his sob story background. And I essentially feel like this is going to amount to nothing because he still killed Pop Windibank and tried to pin it on Gina, who is 100% innocent. While Nash and Ringo were searching the counter, I had located the music box I'd sold to McGilded on the shelves of forfeited articles. And the second disc was inside. Yes, I slipped it into my pocket with a very deep sigh of relief. But then, something entirely unexpected happened. Pop Windibank. Fucking no words. What are you doing in my shop? Bang! A gunshot rang out in the shop, and I felt a sharp pain in my left arm. The broker fired his gun, and the bullet pierced your limb. Yes, exactly. But unfortunately, I decided to bring my own gun with me that night. Just in case. The third gun. Ayame Karame. Jose. SNR, what's going on? Before I knew what was happening, I'd fired back. The man had already turned to flee, and I hadn't intended to fire in his direction, much less kill him. But unfortunately for both of us, the bullet hit home. It struck him in the middle of his back as he fled through the storeroom door for refuge. A sorry, sorry tale. It all took place in the blink of an eye. I don't imagine Nash and Ringo even realized what had happened at first. I was terrified, so I fled. And that's the whole story. That's everything that happened at Windibank's on that wretched night. Okay, so innocent for my client, right? That's what we're leaning on. Like they're free to go. Judgy. Judgy wudgy. Judgy wudgy. Earlier, you called McGilded a monster. A man who used his wealth and influence to distort the facts and escape justice for the crime of murder. Tragic irony. What you have done is exactly the same. You've become the very monster you saw, and despise so deeply in McGilded. Yes, I think I have. Trying to get a 3DS off Amazon, but they're all essentially $400. The Awakening version with FE Awakening pre-installed is $999. Just buy a 2DS. Those are super cheap. And still on shelves. Or the 2DS XLs, I mean. Well, this has been a long and exhausting trial. However, it would seem that we have at last arrived at the truth. Inspector Gregson, what of Mr. Ashley Graydon? You still have a job? He's been restrained, my lord, and is being escorted to the yard. He'll be charged with the murder of Mr. Windibank and the stealing of government secrets. Very good. And you, Inspector, incredibly, you will have to face charges yourself. Yes, my lord, of course. It transpires that you were complicit in helping a criminal escape justice. That fact remains, whether or not you were doing so in the line of duty. The crime is a serious one, Inspector, and inexcusable. Now to the defendant, Miss Gina Lachade. Yeah? It's time for the final adjudication. Is the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Yes, sir. Garrett Squadron standing by, sir. This is really it now. The last push, the final call, the finishing whistle. My men are ready to deliver their verdicts. Thank you, Mr. Foreman. Very well. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now declare your final decisions to the court.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Thank you, Russian mercenary. Shout out him, by the way. Bang. This is stuff. I'm off the hook. Finally, Runa, you managed to do it. Finally is the word. Wasn't really sure if we'd come out on top for a while there. Susie was right. You're the best lawyer in the world. Miss Lestrade, I am not finished with you yet. What are you looking at me like that for? Before you start enjoying your freedom, there are certain other crimes to consider, 2 months ago, in my courtroom no less, you gave false testimony, did you not? And in relation to the trial today, not only did you unlawfully enter Windibank's pawnbrokery, you also attempted to abscond with Mr. McGilded's property, it seems. I never did nothing of the sort. Of course not. It's not like you were gleefully wearing McGilded's coat in your cell yesterday or anything. Aw, and just when I was getting excited about throwing a party for Ginny this evening. And turning our attention to the defense... Determining that, when played together, the music box disc contained a message in Morse code was... Well, it was certainly a most unexpected revelation, Counsel. Is somebody gonna tell us what that fucking shit said, by the way? Quite so, my lord. The prosecution was caught entirely off guard. In fact, I think we should applaud my learned friend's courage here today. I propose a toast. To demanding that government secrets be disseminated before the entire courtroom. Very sorry about that. It was the only way I could get Inspector Gregson to admit what he'd done, so... I may say something on that point. Isn't that... It's, there we go. About the sounds produced by the music box before. I do wonder if that was really Morse code at all. What are you saying, madam? Oh, well, it's just that I'm really rather fanatical when it comes to Morse code, you see. Oh, is it fucking coded message in Morse code? Because that's fucking stupid. So much so that the whole world seems to be covered in dots and dashes to me, in fact. Goodness, madam. An unhealthy level of obsession, one feels. But I must say that in my opinion, the sounds produced by those two discs were nothing more than that. A meaningless series of two different tones. What? Can that really be? It wasn't Morse code after all. My lord, the defense would like to listen to the music box again. Are you off your nut? How many times do I have to tell you? Those discs contain ministerial secrets, Sunshine. This courtroom is not an appropriate forum to discuss the nature of the government communications. We know McGilded conspired to trade national secrets with our enemies. Secrets acquired from Mr. Graydon. Now that the man has admitted to his crimes, we have no need to pursue the matter further. But it's really gonna bother me. Miss Lestrade! Yeah, my lord? Now what you have seen today here in this courtroom has been extremely disturbing. Falsified evidence, intimidation, perjury, a grim catalogue of depravity. An appalling experience to befall any child. Come on, it ain't nothing I don't see most days back in the back slums. I beg your pardon? If you're weak, you pay for it. That's just how life goes. Gina. But look, I reckon I've worked something out today. The world ain't fair, but if you want it to change, you gotta start at home. You gotta change how you are yourself. Well, that's a very laudable lesson, I would say. I eagerly look forward to the born-again Miss Lestrade never gracing my courtroom with her presence again. No promises? Okay. Now, with regard to the murder of Mr. Pop Windibank, proprietor of a pawnbrokery business on Baker Street, I hereby declare the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, not guilty. 4-0, baby, let's go! That's a nice touch. That is all. Court is adjourned. So, no hard feelings? On a personal note, I must say you've surprised me, Far Eastern friend. Oh. Despite being a Nipponese, you saw through the pretense to the malice that festered within that Englishman. And at the same time, saw through the grime to the surprising heart of your English client. You have a curious talent for judging character, especially considering our very different cultures. I don't think there's anything curious about it. Whether we're from the Empire of Great Britain or the Empire of Japan, we're all human beings. We're not so very different on the inside. Damn, he did not ask. You know, I took this case for one very simple reason. To lock swords with you once again, here in the courtroom. You did. When I encountered you for the first time 2 months ago, it reminded me of toasting friendship and trust with another Nipponese, only to find my trust betrayed. Through you, I hope to look into the eyes of the man I once knew, and try to understand. So, who was he involved with? It couldn't have been Kazuma, right? You mentioned something similar earlier today, about total betrayal at the hands of the Japanese. What happened exactly? Well, you may ask. And one day, when the time comes, you will learn the answer, whether you like it or not. Alright then, I'll wait for that day, if I must. Coming to be known as the Reaper of the Bailey, and my retirement from my service 5 years ago, it gives me cause to wonder if our meeting has some deeper purpose. So, farewell, my learned Nipponese fellow, until we meet again. Seventeenth of April, 5:24 p.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. It's done. It's over at last. But where's Iris disappeared to? She went to go see her lot. Hello, Miss Lestrade. Congratulations, Gina. I knew it all along. I knew that you were innocent. Well, you did what you said, Mr. Naruhodo. You believed in me, right up until the end. You're as odd as your name. What's odd about it? I told you I had faith in you, didn't I? No one ever has before, see? Kept a promise, I mean, properly. It's awful. Figured something out today. All my life, growing up in the slums, I never trusted no one. But that's just because I've been scared of being stabbed in the back. I mean, the more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down. Yeah, I think I can understand that. After all, I had a taste of it in that trial 2 months ago. I chose to trust someone and paid for it. That betrayal left a big scar. You know, though, Gina, I worked something out quite recently, too. Trusting in someone else is really an exercise in learning to trust yourself. And when your gut tells you it's the right thing to do, and your trust is rewarded, there's no better feeling in the world. I think I have to thank you for reminding me of that valuable lesson. Oh, well, if you say so. That'd make a fat lot of sense to me, though. I'm trying to say that putting my faith in you, Gina, has been a real pleasure. For crying out loud, pack it in. But I suppose I sort of feel the same way. I mean, sometimes trusting someone else is, you know, alright. Thanks. Oh no. Oh, we be having mad Cosmo flashbacks. I have a feeling I'm gonna close my eyes and see that fucking headband waving. After this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean. Kazuma, am I living up to your expectations? Am I turning out to be the lawyer you believed I could be? Pardon the interruption. Oh, he's fucking there. Okay, I was about to say. But what the deuce does a man have to do to be noticed around here, my dear fellow? That voice. It's too late for that voice now, Mr. Naruhodo. I've been standing here patiently in the corner of the room for an eternity. Haha, yes, it was me all along, I would have said when you finally noticed me. But you people, with your incessant babbling... Mr. Sholmes. Haha, yes, it was me all along, you see? I'd assume you've been taken back to your hospital, to be honest. Indeed I was, but I managed to escape again. Oh. I happen to be aware of one or two foibles of the doctor who was tending to me. I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily issued me with a leave of absence. How very above board. But enough of my adventures. That was a fine victory, Mr. Naruhodo. Your tireless efforts justly rewarded, I feel. Congratulations are in order. As a close friend, I tip my hat to you. Oh, thank you. Some great detective you are. Great as being as cold as ice, maybe. Have I irked you in some way, Miss Lestrade? Well, you've been having a snooze in your nice soft bed. Some of us have been fighting for our lives. Ah, well. That bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, is true. So I have indeed been feeling somewhat cold. Not perhaps as cold as ice, but... well, have a feel. Could you take your hands off my neck, please, Mr. Sholmes? And, in some way, I suppose, congratulations are in order for you too, Miss Lestrade. What's that supposed to mean? Why are you so half-hearted? Well, naturally, it isn't my intention to alarm you, but an acquittal in a trial with that particular prosecutor is perhaps a little precarious. Well done, Mr. Sholmes, not alarming in the slightest. Oh, the Reaper, you mean? Was anyone who's found not guilty in a trial he was working on winds up dead anyways? Is that it? The very point I was trying to make. As exemplified by the fate of Mr. McGilded, in fact. Ah, but of course. I pay no attention to such irrational dribble myself. Ah, well, it don't bother me. Oh, really? Of course not. The way I see it, the Reaper's a bit like a bit like him upstairs. Him upstairs? You mean like God? Yeah, him upstairs knows what's what, right? He knows what people are like on the inside. He won't have gotten the wrong end of the stick. There's some coves like that bog trotter who are rotten to the core. At the end of the day, him upstairs makes sure they get what they deserve. I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Divine justice is one thing, though. The Reaper taking matters into his own hands and claiming lives is another. But we now know that that was people that were under the employ of Graydon. Well, I ain't like the McGildeds of this world, so I ain't scared. I got principles, see? A trait in you which is to be admired, Miss Lestrade. Oi, just give it a rest, alright? As I was saying, congratulations are in order. The news of your acquittal was very welcome news to me indeed. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations, Gina. Well, there you are. Hurley, how long have you been here? Honestly, I went to the main entrance especially to meet you there. Iris, my dear, I do apologize. But wait until I tell you what happened. This pair made utter fools of themselves. What happened? As you know, I have a penchant for disguise. I was hiding in this room dressed as a bailiff. But these adults didn't notice my presence at all. They had no idea. Can you imagine, Iris? Would you credit it? I'm not sure, really. I beg your pardon? I'm sorry, Hurley, but you just don't have the weighty presence you seem to think you have. In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's going to land you in trouble one day. I'll be careful. Ow. Anyway, it's such a shame. I was so hoping to throw a party for Ginny tonight. But you won't be able to come, will you? Don't look like I'm gonna be going nowhere for a while. You heard the judge's patter. I've got to make amends for... I got stuff to make amends for, apparently. All them offenses. What was it again? Breaking and entering, taking the bog trotter stuff, what was in lug, blah blah blah. Yeah, I think you'll find that basically being a pickpocket is the main offense. But diving ain't an offense. It's a job, innit? I don't think so. Still, it has got me thinking all this. Maybe I should start looking for another line of work. I mean, you didn't start off as a lawyer, did you, Otto? Well, no, but I was never a pickpocket. Well, anyway, I reckon I could make a change. I'm gonna do something for all them lot like me from the slums. Something that makes a difference for them. That's a wonderful idea, Ginny, and I'm sure you can do it. What is it? Nothing. It's Gina Lestrade. The prison carriage has arrived, ma'am. Come with me to the rear gate at once. Right. Well, looks like I'm off then. Yeah. Goodbye, Gina. And good luck. Otto? Yeah? No, please. I beg you! Ah! What was that for? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, so... Indeed. Perhaps this situation calls for a phrase hitherto missing from your vocabulary, Miss Lestrade. Eh? On occasions such as this, I would recommend a simple thank you. Oh. Oh yes, it's good advice, Ginny. Right, I see. Well... Thanks, Otto. Aw. Thank you for everything what you've done. For believing in me. Not at all. In fact, that should be my line. Thank you, Gina. Well, there she goes. I wonder if I'll ever see her again. Well, well, quite the indomitable pick purse. Oh, I nearly forgot. I bought a paper outside. It's a special edition, and this trial is all over the front page. Pickpocket's innocence proven. Isn't it wonderful? Bro, they printed that story fast as fuck. What the hell? You should have shown it to Gina, Iris. She would have been thrilled. Oh no, how silly of me. Ah, but anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Not again. Well, what do you say, Bruno, Hurley? Give us the good news this time. Start with good news. As usual, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. No, come on, you gotta get the good news first. Prep for the bad news, get the good news out the way first. Absolutely not. I have no intention of listening to anything but good news. There we go. Take it easy, HP. Thanks for coming out. There you have it. How people answer that question says a lot about them, doesn't it? Let's not go there. Alright then, maybe let's start with the good news this time. The rain has finally stopped. It was a record-level rainfall, apparently. Well, that is good news indeed. We can journey back in greater comfort. Alright then, what's the bad news? A huge storm has left the seas very choppy. Yup, and boats cannot leave. The channel in particular is awful, so sailings out of Dover have been delayed by a day or more. Wait, Dover? That's right, if we head to the station immediately, we may still make it in time to wave Susie off. But there won't be a train, surely. We couldn't be that lucky. Who do you think I am, Mr. Norohodo? Mr. Sholmes? I rushed to Victoria Station earlier and made arrangements for a special express. If we hurry now, we should be there in time for dinner. And I know of a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious Big Soleil. I don't... The great detective does it again. Indeed, he does. I happen to be aware of a number of the rail transport director's foibles. What? I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily laid on the locomotive. Elementary. Just an idea, but it might be wise to stop manipulating people that way. What are we waiting for, then? To London, Victoria. Are we gonna get anime for this? It would make sense to get anime for this. Damn. 18th of April, 5:32 a.m. Port of Dover, Quayside. Unique area, too. I don't think we've seen this background before. It took somewhat longer than I had anticipated. Susie's boat must be about to leave now. Susato, where are you? Oh, damn, I wonder where she could be. Over there, look. Looks like she's reading something.
Hold it!
Hey, what are you doing? Susato, wait. What are you doing? Sir Naruhodo? What are you doing here? We came as soon as we could after the trial. I mean, we heard that sailings were being delayed due to the bad weather, you see. Oh, I see. Then tell me, how did Gina's trial go? It went well. She was acquitted. It's wonderful. Really wonderful news. The book you were about to throw into the sea. It was your Encyclopedia of British Law, wasn't it? Dear, I was hoping you hadn't seen that. I'm not worthy of practicing law in any way now. So, I was saying my final farewell. You were saying goodbye to law. You, Susato. Would I be correct in assuming it's all because of the peephole, Miss Susato? I deliberately altered the scene of a crime, and then I tried to hide the fact. What I did is utterly unforgivable. That reminds me. How did you even come to have this, Susie? On the evening of the incident, Mr. Sholmes had invited Gina to dinner, if you remember. Oh yes, we had a wonderful time. Well, Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of pickpocketing, I mean. Oh, that was so much fun. I stole Runo's armband. Yeah, please don't do that again, Iris. That band's very important to me. Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it. You didn't notice for ages. On a whim, I thought it would be fun to see if I could take the cap flap from that. So I put it up my sleeve. Really? And then I rather forgot about it, until I found myself in Mr. Windibank's shop with it later that night. I see. And then... After Mr. Naruhodo had left the shop, I started to think. That door started to play on my mind. The storeroom door, you mean? Yes. If Gina was anywhere in the shop, I realized it could only be behind that door. And at that moment, the little device I had up my sleeve sprang to mind. So worried about Gina, I simply had to know. So, you used the cat flapper to make the peephole in the door. As captured in a photographic print of the shop. By one of Hurley's red-handed recorders. Indeed, it was one of the first importance, that point. Precisely when the peephole was made, that information would prove to be Mr. Naruhodo's greatest weapon. Though naturally, without proof, it would have amounted to nothing. But when I looked through the hole in the door, the sight that met my eyes made my blood run cold. Thoughts started to run through my mind. I remembered that trial 2 months earlier. The trial of Magnus McGilded. Thought about how he had manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimonies to secure his freedom. It made the British justice system feel very dark and sinister to me. And then a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now? Because from the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Gina had shot Mr. Windibank. Even though I was sure she would have never done such a thing. You were worried that the true culprit would try to frame her for the crime. That's right, but then I realized it would be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in this case. What do you mean? Well, the crime appeared to have happened behind the door of a locked room. For someone to claim falsely to have witnessed it, there would have had to have been a way to see beyond the door. Ah! For which a peephole would be the very thing. Only the peephole I made wasn't actually there until after the crime had been committed, of course. And the criminal would know that, so it wouldn't make any difference. But the possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not? A trap? Is that why she did it? So, is that why you kept it a secret, Susie? You never mentioned that you made the peephole to anyone. Not even the police. No. And I knew at the time what I was doing was wrong. Criminal offense, even. That's why I decided to confide in Mr. Sholmes. If Mr. Naruhodo was completely backed into a corner with no other possible means of escape, the truth about the peephole could save him. That was my plan. She really does think of everything. But then, why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began? My dear fellow, you're not thinking straight. If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade. You could have been disbarred if you had been seen to have knowingly tampered with a crime scene. So Miss Usato decided to shoulder the burden of responsibility alone. For your sake, and for Miss Lestrade's. Miss Usato. The truth is, when it happened, I did it because I'd lost a little of my faith in the law. Oh. I was worried that the right person wouldn't be convicted of the crime. But the moment I allowed myself to think that is the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant. You're not thinking straight, I can tell by all the Kazuma flashbacks. They really like laying it on thick. Like, did we, in AA1, we didn't get that many flashbacks of Mia, did we? Like, we had the occasional, like, she would pop up in court, but I think if you go back and you count the amount of Mia pop-ups in court, it's not nearly as much as how we've seen Kazuma, especially in, like, the last half of this game. She's really just been popping up. Or he's really just been popping up, rather. What you did isn't comparable to what he did. Graydon is the one who lied in the witness stand, using that peephole as a way to implicate Gina. And besides, if the peephole inconsistency hadn't existed, I'm not all sure that she would have been acquitted in the end. Miss Usato, what you did saved Gina's life. Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruhodo, you saved me too, from my regrets. Well, we must all be thankful that Miss Lestrade's freedom has been assured. Yeah, exactly. Mia shows up like 7 to 6 times throughout the entirety of AA as a flashback thing. Yeah, even having 2 specific cases where it's like flashback cases for her. It's just kind of weird that that Kazuma. Well, I mean, I guess at the same time, you created a very unique like character design with that 3D modeling of the headband, right? So it would make sense for Kazuma to show up, right? From just a purely like game development standpoint. Like, you want to have him show up as much as possible in flashbacks because goddamn, we modeled that headband. We're not gonna let it go to waste. Although, some of the loose ends in that trial will continue to play on my mind, I'm sure. But the revelation that the music box disc contains secret messages, Mr. Naruhodo? What a triumph to work that out. I'm full of admiration. Well, actually, that argument wasn't quite as compelling as I thought it was. It wasn't. There was a communications officer among the jury members, you see. A telegraph operator. She said that the majority of the sounds on the disc were just meaningless tones. As one would expect. After all, we are talking about secret government communications. No doubt they were written in cipher to avoid being readily understood should they have been intercepted. In cipher. I see. So then we could have never hoped to understand the message anyway. Nonsense, my dear fellow. It's quite a zero-pipe problem, I assure you. A. So... Asogi? What? Well, that can't be a real word, can it? How funny. Wait, Iris, what did you just say? Oh, I just said asogi. Does that word mean something to you? Mean something? Sogi was the name of my best friend. What? But how? How do you know that name, Iris? I wrote it down during the trial before, when the message was playing on the music box. You can fucking transcribe it? She transcribed it on the fly? She really is a genius. I thought the message probably wouldn't be written out in plain Morse code, so I tried various ways to interpret it. But whatever I tried, the words just didn't seem to make any sense. That is, in English at least. Oh. It suddenly occurred to me, you see. There's more than one Morse code, not just the English variety. Various countries around the world have altered and added to Morse code to use it in their own languages. I don't believe it. Are you saying... Japanese? I've only actually seen it try to Japanese Morse code once before. Yo, come on. But I think it's based on the Iroha pangram, isn't it? And you mean to say that in Japanese Morse code the message says Isogi? Yes, I think so. Sorry, but I don't remember all of the Japanese Morse code. Iris, would you let me see that? Miss Usato, do you know it? Do you know Japanese Morse code? Yes, I spent some time studying it. Because I'm quite sure Morse code will become ever more important for international communications. Then might I recommend, my dear madam, that you focus your efforts on the English version. Be that as it may, Iris, show me the message, please. Yeah, come on, Herlock. Of course. But what can this possibly mean? Whatever is in that long sequence of supposedly meaningless dots and dashes. It's made the color drain from her face. There's no doubt that this message is written in Japanese Morse code. So the British Empire has been using Japanese for its secret communications? I don't understand the reason why, but the message appears to be a list of 4 people's names. Please don't let me and Susato be 2 and 3 on this list. 4 names. The first is Kei Asogi, of course. Kazuma Asogi. Why? Why was his name on that disc? The second is A. Shin. Do we know anybody? No? Shin? I don't recognize that name. The third is T. Gregson. Tobias Gregson. Yep. It would seem Tobias Gregson is the third man on the list. What's his name doing in a secret government communication as well? And the last name? What's the matter, Miss Susato? Oh, I thought that was her speaking. What's the matter? It's just so strange. So unexpected. It's my name, isn't it? Oh, what is it, Susie? Don't keep us in suspense. Or fucking John Wilson. And that's why she doesn't want to say it out loud, because she doesn't want to make Iris sad. The last name is John Wilson. Yeah. Because I was like, who else could it be, right? And I started thinking, Kazuma's dead, right? Gregson is probably going to jail for a long-ass time. This A. Shin person is probably going to pop up in the next game. And then, who else is dead and died for an unexplained reason? And then I was like, oh, case one. It was Iris's dad. Wilson. John H. Wilson? You mean, Daddy? It says only J. Wilson, so I'm afraid I can't be sure. Then, after the four names, it reads, if I translate from Japanese, that is all four. And that's the end of the message. Or rather, the end of what you noted down, Iris. I just can't believe it. Who would have ever thought that those discs contain Japanese Morse code? Not to mention a strange list of some disturbingly familiar names. Oh, does that mean fucking... Yo, if Gregson gets off-screened in between games, I'm gonna be pissed. It would appear that this particular message is a communication of some kind between Great Britain and the Empire of Japan. So, Daddy could be in Japan then, where Susie and Runo come from. Ah! Yeah, about that. No, it's not very likely, really, is it? I mean, there are thousands of people with the surname Wilson. There must be lots of J's among them. Ah! Stop smiling at me, please. Professor John H. Wilson, visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. But we can't tell Iris about that now. We just can't. This is so strange. Somehow in solving the case of Mr. Windibank's murder today, I feel like I've rolled back a boulder at the mouth of a very dark cave. I do wonder if perhaps it's a dark cave that we shouldn't go wandering inside. Honk. Geese in the winter. Dear, the ship is going to set sail soon. Yeah, it seems so. I'll sail on that steamship first to the port of Dunkirk in France. Then I'll change onto a larger passenger vessel bound for Japan. Where are you going then, Susie? We wish you a safe passage, Mr. Sato. So much. Wish all of you the very best. Mrs. Sato, I'd hope to have you always at my side, to guide and support me. Mr. Naruhodo, please, come back soon. As far as I'm concerned, you really are the very best judicial assistant in the world. Quite sure I'll be back before you know it. Really, Susie? Oh, now don't forget, Iris. I made you a promise I've yet to fulfill. A promise? About your manuscript. Ah. Oh yeah, the Hound of the Baskervilles. I'll be waiting for you then, Susie. A promise is a promise. Definitely, Iris. Mr. Naruhodo? Do you remember the first time we met? Yeah, of course. On the SS Burya, when I was dragged out from that wardrobe, still half asleep. No, before that, we actually met in Japan. If I remember rightly, you threw me halfway across the cabin with a Susato takedown. You know very well that I'm talking about after that. It's strange, but being thrown together as we were in that case, I somehow felt straight away that you were the perfect person to continue Kazuma's great legacy. Susato. My instincts were right. Really want to believe? No. I'm sure that I'll be back soon. Farewell until then. Fade to black? Really? Now anime? Yeah!
Somehow we seem to have come to the end of the adventures of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Or the first volume, at least.
Oh, Wagahai was there too. Let's go, Wagahai!
It feels as though fate has led me.
Yo, did you
on
notice the
this journey.
fucking pistol on Sholmes' hilt?
Fate led me to becoming a lawyer, to traveling halfway around the world, to meeting the great detective. I'm sure there'll be trials and tribulations ahead. Of course there will.
Yeah, it's the third game.
But whatever happens, I know I'll be able to turn my fortunes around.
Herlock, what the fuck?
After all, I have the greatest friends in the world on my side.
Well then. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, Mr. Sholmes. I have some rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the Special Express train, apparently. Uh-huh. It caused such a commotion on the line. All the other trains had to wait at the stations. But really, we would never have made it to Dover in time otherwise. Anyway, I explained everything and how it was all your fault. Huh? Huh? I believe a formal complaint should be delivered to your office tomorrow. But not to worry, my dear fellow, according to Mr. Sato, you love defending yourself in court. Huh? Huh? It's alright, I'm perfectly happy to testify. Really didn't look like the sort of man who'd do something so outrageous. See? Mr. Sholmes? Oh, this is the big call. Everybody get it ready. Everybody get it ready. Yes? A word, if you don't mind. Why, certainly. Any word you like. Belt it out, my dear fellow. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I guess not. Go fuck myself. Oh yes, I love Runo's words. And I know just the one he'll use here. Then I really must say...
Objection.
Of course. That was a good game. I enjoyed it. It was very nice. I will say I feel like the pacing was a little bit weird because the second chapter of the game was just kind of the investigation. But it was still a great Still a great experience all the way through. It just kind of felt like I was missing one case because I never went to court on this second chapter. Soundtrack was very nice. I think the characters were very good. I actually appreciate some of the mechanics they put into this, like the as I think it was a little bit bare bones, the characters reacting during testimony. I felt like it never went more out of the way of fucking what was his name? Mr. Ouchie. Alright, and these guys are back. Okay, so does the second game takes place in Japan then? Because we didn't really get to see Japanese judge all that much. Hosonaga kind of fucking disappeared off. I feel like there was a lot of stuff that was missed on. Like, I feel like, the logic and reasoning spectacular, the great deduction, I think having one of those with Iris was a completely missed opportunity. Or having her at least do one was a missed opportunity. I feel like that could have been very cool. Because it's shown off, like, and not even as like a gameplay segment, but like her just doing the logic and reasoning spectacular, like all of those animations. Also, expected Strongheart to be a supervillain, was not a supervillain. He kind of just was there. He was the most non-character in the game, right? Like, you could remove Strongheart from this game wholesale, you still have the same game. I feel like Van Zieks was pretty cool. Van Zieks didn't have really a lot to his character, though. I assume that will be expanded on in the second game, but I feel like Van Zieks, he is probably one of the like more subdued prosecutors that that at least I've seen up to this point. Obviously I have the second game to go through, so this might change in the second game, but I feel like Van Zieks was pretty cool, but nothing to the point where I'm like, oh man, I love him so much more than Edgeworth or Clavier Gavin, right? I love him so much more. I think I like him on par with Godot. I feel like he is on par with Godot for me. For the what? Hey! No, run that back. What'd he say? No. What did that man just say? That guy say Dicky Peg? Oh, nah. We getting the British out of here. At least Zeeks is not a mirror of Miles, that he's his own character. I don't think any prosecutor that we've gotten has been a mirror of Miles. I feel at least all of the prosecutors have something that make them stand out to a point where it's like, yes, it's not Miles Edgeworth again. I feel like you can say that some of the similar things about Edgeworth that you can about Van Zieks, right? But they're different enough, right? Especially Edgeworth, like maybe game 1 Edgeworth and Van Zieks, right? But even in game 1, you get like the progression of Edgeworth relying a little bit on other people. Van Zieks, at least in this game, is like 100% is just me. Is me all day, every day. Real nigga all day and tomorrow. But these motherfuckers talking crazy like their jaw broke. Shut up, loser. Ah, the Skulkins. I actually really enjoyed the Skulkins. I think they were pretty cool. Miles did rely on a lot. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Miles Edgeworth is very much so a culmination of other characters imprinting on him. Whether it be his own dad, whether it be Phoenix, Von Karma, right? You see very minute self pieces of expression from Miles Edgeworth. Until the later games. That's a good picture. Hey, Cosmo. What the fuck? Or is this just gonna be like running through all the cases?
Welcome to the family, son.
Dang, missed the end of the game, but I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did watching it.
Yeah, we're walking through the rest of the case, or we're walking through the cases one by one now. And JCW, speaking of one by one, 10 months in total. That's a lot of ones after ones. Thank you very much for sticking with your family, brother. Appreciate it as always. And I'm sad that you missed it too, but we're about to start up the second game too. So, imagine Kazuma just drops dead. I assume he's just gonna fade away, right? Like, he should fade away right now, right? Yeah, fade or stop. I feel like fading or stopping and handing over his armband and his katana is a little bit more symbolic. Oh! Damn it. You were so close. You almost had it. I guess this works. I still think it should have been Kazuma. Susato gave us she handed it to us when we were in the when we were on the Burya, right? But I think for at least this credit sequence, Kazuma handing over the headband and katana would have been fucking sick. Fucking Lady first.
Welcome to the family, son.
Beppo!
Not trying to get spoiled, but dropping this.
Why did the text-to-speech sound concerned? What the fuck? Sushi back for the 13 months. Welcome back to the family, brother. Appreciated as always. Glad to have you with us. I don't know why the text-to-speech sounded like that. That guy was scared. And we're at the end of the game right now, Sushi. We're about to start up game 2, and they're currently walking through all of the cases. So yeah, there's some pretty decent spoilers in here. Not patrolly. Chums and Iris were great side characters. I feel like they were more than side characters. TBH, I feel like they were just as much main characters as Ryunosuke and Susato were. I felt like if any other game, like, something kind of like either Dual Destinies or Spirit of Justice, this game has the best group, right? Like Spirit of Justice and Dual Destinies, when you have all three of the defense attorneys together and Trucy, it's literally a fucking force to be reckoned with. But I feel like this is a good mix. And I kind of like it like that. Like there's a part of me that really does appreciate and like the Phoenix and Maya duo, right? Those two together like are very clearly a good dichotomy. I like the pointing. The pointing was good. Can't install updates, that's the point. Shut up, Windows. Alright, Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Is Finn. Post-credit scene? No? Post-credit card. That's pretty good. Look, they put a lot of... I feel like there's way more emphasis on Kazuma than there was on Mia. Oh my god. Alright. Well now... Great Ace Attorney 2, Resolve. Let's get it started. Anime? This seems like in-engine. It is. What the fuck? Kazuma Grave.
Standing here in the bright sunshine, looking out over the vast ocean. Those days in London seem like a dream.
Yo, she got
But
bars.
I do miss my time in England's vast capital. You know, he's flourished into a truly wonderful lawyer. I've no doubt that at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in
Wait.
court.
Okay, so question mark. His body when Kazuma died, we were in transit
me
to London.
for taking so long to come to visit you.
Did they ship his
My
body
life
back?
has been such a whirlwind since
Did we
I
turn
returned,
around to drop him off?
and no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
Uh-oh. No! Wait, what?
So I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court. For the only time in my life. As a lawyer.
Oh, dead ass? Also, Hat Bitch is back. We're getting revenge.
So please,
Oh, no.
I ask for
Somebody got
guidance.
revenge.
Kazuma-sama.
Well... Episode 1, The Blossoming Attorney. Well, shit. I was like, yeah, we gonna get some revenge. Oh. Oh, no. 13th of August, 8:26 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber number 3. Here I am again after 9 months, the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. I feel so nervous, but I must steel my nerves and find a way to compose myself. Hey, Pops. Oh, good, you're here. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late. Yes, good morning, sir. I hardly recognize you. You cut a fine figure, Counsel. But you look as white as a sheet. And those wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Oh dear. What's going on, Devin? How you doing? Oh shit. Accidentally scroll barred. No! No, don't tell him that! Goodness. Not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say. Yujin Mikotoba, professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. Man who earlier in his life traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical science. And of course, my brilliant father. Excuse me? Ah, that was the, this is our, defendant. Yeah, Ouchie was in the tutorial case of the last game. Fucking Ouchie was a big dickhead for no reason. Would I be correct in thinking that you're to be my lawyer today in court? Oh, yes. Yes, that's right, miss. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear on my life. It's a complete fabrication, this whole thing. Ray Mimbami? I don't know what that could be. But our friend, right? I don't know what the pun is here. I can't tell off the top of my head, just looking at it. Remember me. No, fuck. God damn it. God, fuck. God fucking... Born the same year as I and my greatest friend. Though unusual for a woman our time, she works at the University Research Lab, helping my father. And sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial. Accused of committing a truly awful murder. Are you feeling alright? Since we started talking, you seem... well... to have become a little flush. Oh! Well... it's just that... you look so gallant and dashing. Oh, these bitches gay! Good for them. Good for them. Sorry? And when I fall under your intense gaze, it... well, it makes me feel rather bashful. Goodness, I don't think she knows. She hasn't realized who I am. Not the wahahas. Calm it down, Wario. It would seem our little plan for this trial is going to work. Oh? What do you mean, Professor Mikotoba? If even your best friend can see through the disguise, I think we can relax. Disguise? Oh, please, show the fit, show the fit. I'd never tried dressing this way before, of course. I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. But this does make me feel a little relieved, as you say, Father. Father? Is that you, Susato? So sorry I didn't say anything sooner, right? It's just that... No! What are you doing? What's going on? What? That varsity uniform, that varsity cap, that varsity cape, that varsity badge. Look at you. You look for all the world like a student of Imperial Yume University. A male student. I'm so glad you think so. It means all my preparations have been worthwhile. I woke at 4 this morning to make a start. But I don't understand. Why are you dressed like that? Well, you see... It was the only way. The only way she would be permitted in the Supreme Court to take you on your defense in this trial. My defense? Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body. Courts in Japan are barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom. Despite the fact the laws of the land apply to all people, male and female alike. Women are forbidden. Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door, so that I can act as your lawyer. Susato, you go to such lengths for me. Of course. You're my greatest friend. I just worry that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. Is there a time skip in this second game? Approximately... what is it? 7 months since the end of the last game? Right? Because Susato said 9 months ago she went to Britain, and then 2 months passed, right? And then we come back here, and so essentially like 7 months, right? We literally just saw Susato leave for Japan and it takes 50 days for the voyage. Yeah, but I didn't. Maybe I'm crazy, but I could have sworn that she said it was 9 months ago that she went to Britain. Right? Maybe I'm tripping. Ray. It's so strange, though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. And yet, just because you're a woman, what a wretched reason. I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so gallant and dashing. Ray? Please don't look at me like that with those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just... you really do look so dashing. Yes. You mentioned that once or twice.
You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man.
I am pleased, I think. It certainly helped bolster my confidence today. Ray, you're managing to put on a brave face in all this, but I can see through it. I've noticed how your shoulders are slumped, and how you're trembling ever so slightly. Susato, you do believe me, don't you? Didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean, murder? Of course. You have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right? Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence, which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I'll always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer. That means so much to me, Susato.
Defendant, counsel, court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. You should go in at once, Ray. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty.
Oh. Stand aside! I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast.
Well, Susato, you certainly surprised your father. Going to such lengths to be admitted into the courtroom and with no prior experience of being a lawyer.
There was simply no other way. That's all there is to it. But, Father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming that Ray doesn't know how it came to this.
Yes, quite right. I've kept that information from her. It would only worry her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. I didn't want to burden her with that.
And is it true? The reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case, is it really because of who the victim was?
Fucking Giselle Brett. We should be making a move now, too. As you know, law is in my field, but I'll do what I can to support my student.
Thank you, Father. I'm Susato Mikotoba, a judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain. See? Wait, didn't she... Am I tripping or did she say 9? Okay, so 8 months ago, right? We were in Japan for 2 months, right? And then she had to leave, right? So yes, there is a little bit of a time skip since the end of the last game, right? That is true. It's a little bit. It's not crazy or anything. It's not like, oh, it was 5 years and there was a training arc, and now Ryunosuke can shoot spirit bombs, right? What I'm saying is there was a little bit of time, there was a passage of time since the end of the last game and right now. What's going on, Zone? How you doing? This isn't Dual Destinies, exactly. But 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. How many times have I wished that he were here, I wonder. Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naruhodo. Here we go. 13th of August, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of I was gonna say Japan again. Supreme Court of Judicature. Courtroom number 1. Damn, she kind of fitted up over there. The court is now in session to hear the trial of Rei Membami. The prosecution is fully ready to proceed, Your Excellency. Who was on trial? I was in the shower? Damn. Sucks to be in the shower then. Defense counsel, are you ready? Yes, Your Excellency, we are ready. Ready. Isn't her name just Remember Me? Yeah. Yes, counsel. According to your registration details, your name is, Ryotaro Naruhodo. Is that correct? Sorry? Oh yes, I had to come up with a suitable male name for this little venture. So I'm afraid to say I simply put down the first name that sprung to mind. Well, counsel... yes, that's right. That's me. I mean... Yes, I am Ryutaro. He was vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan. Judge is fucking bugging. It seems Ryutaro needs to consider how to better uphold his manly act first and not overdo it. And those wild, wide eyes of yours aren't doing you any favors either. Just relax and listen. Naruhodo? Fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. But the name Naruhodo, would that perchance be... You may be thinking of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, currently in Britain as part of a study program. This is, his cousin. That's right. Ryutaro has been studying in the provinces, but was called to the capital for this trial. I assure you, in the matters of law, his knowledge rivals that of any of Tokyo's preeminent lawyers. Any of them? Tut, tut, tut. What a pitiful situation. Having been rejected by every lawyer in the capital, the accused has to call on a country boy. How dare you? Susato is as bit as gallant as dashing as any of your Tokyo attorneys. How about you pipe the fuck down over there? I won't have you making fun of her. Her? Oh, fuck. Please be careful, Rei. What an unrefined tomboy we have here. But I wonder, is your gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes very much suggest that he is not. I'm ever so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand what Naruhodo goes through. Like it or not, eyes are want to flirt, or flit, excuse me.
The case to be heard on this day is a matter of great significance to our national interests. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may as well affect the very future of our empire.
Just like the trial 9 months ago. And yet for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown yokel by the dock. Dear me.
Perhaps this would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense, to determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom. 9 months ago, where certain other Naruhodos stood where you are standing now.
Oh, does this mean Pops is gonna get clapped because he's our mentor right now?
The same judge tested him as well. And even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with flying colors. For a trained and experienced judicial assistant like you, this will be easy. So, counsel, do you consent on answering some simple questions?
Oh, she took off the jacket. Right? It's time to prove myself. Yeah!
Yes, Your Excellency.
Please do make them simple.
Very well. To start with, you will state the name of the victim.
Okay, that is simple. I couldn't figure that if I tried. Fuck.
What's the matter?
Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Naruhodo goes through. Like it or not, minds are wont to blank.
It's not surprising, really. It's your first time in this position, and in that guise. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter under a little under the circumstance.
Oh dear, this is a dismal failure.
Don't fret. You'd only use the knowledge you've gained as a judicial assistant to overcome the problem.
Of course, the court record.
Yes, the answer will be amongst all the key information about the case in the court record. That's right. Just open the court record.
Damn, 43? Bro, you graying like that? Ooh. Well, we know it's Giselle Brett. I saw the post-mortem report. Take a look at it. Giselle Brett, female, British, time of death 11th of August at around 2 p.m. Ascertained by examination and witness statements. Cause of death, single deep stab wound from behind, piercing a lung resulting in a fatal hemorrhage. Death would have occurred within minutes. Notes, extreme meiosis, pupil constriction was observed in the victim in both eyes. Okay. Well, we know it's Giselle Brett. I just want to look at the people real quick. He also happens to be my father. Damn. She was found guilty, but wasn't, like, charged formally. Apollo's mom, though? We can't even go Apollo's mom, though. Because Apollo's mom just was like, I won't tell my kids they're related. Fuck it. 52? You bald bitch.
What is the name of the victim in this case?
Eugene Mikotoba? Yeah. Yeah, the fucking prosecutor is the victim. Because I'm about to torch that nigga. Yeah. She had amnesia for a long while and then told Phoenix. Also, her yes is okay. The name of the victim who lost her life in this case, Miss Giselle Brett. Giselle Brett.
Name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of our country, I'm sure.
There's a trophy for mentioning all the other options before Giselle Brett. Mikitoba gets so disappointed. I would imagine.
And being a member of our empire's judiciary, will be aware of the significance of that name.
Fuck. Yeah, she was blind, but she told Phoenix that they knew each other. And then Phoenix was just like, yeah, I'll let them figure it out too. I could fuck it. There was one, I can't remember what comic or what artist it was that made it, but it was like it was just Trucy and Apollo hanging out, and it's like, you know, I really like you, Apollo, and I really like you, Trucy. Phoenix walks in. You guys are brother and sister, by the way. It was fucking great.
So, let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was a visiting student from the Empire of Great Britain. Why, then, is her name indelibly associated with our Empire's judicial history? Obviously, you wouldn't have forgotten that case from 9 months ago. But if it's proving hard to recall the finer point, everything you will need is included in the court record.
Obviously, I still remember. That was the start of everything. SOJ went to dangerous levels with Dirk teasing Apollo about Trucy. Yeah, that was very fucking dangerous. It got pretty scary. Giselle Brett. Behind the woman student persona was the face of Queen Victoria.
Yes!
9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University was killed. And the culprit was Giselle Brett.
Yes, she was a killer. At the time, our country just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain. And it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikitoba.
Oh, I thought that was the fucking judge talking. God damn it.
Yes, I was indebted to the man. He had been my mentor when I went to London to study forensic medicine. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter the government wished to resolve rapidly. Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here at the Supreme Court.
What's Usato's last name again? Mikotoba. You know, like her dad. Anywho.
A student of Imperial Yume University was arrested on suspicion of murder. Second-year English language student by the name of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. With the help of his best friend, a student lawyer, the accused conducted his own defense and exposed the despicable crime committed by Miss Giselle Brett. Miss Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, when questioned about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, she gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion.
Immediately after the trial, the British government brought its consular jurisdiction into play. We were unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. It was decided that she would be removed to Shanghai, China instead. Why Shanghai?
There's a British consulate court there. Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week.
You guys couldn't get her to Shanghai for fucking 8 months? Maybe she deserved to be stabbed in the back. Maybe. Y'all kept her here way too fucking long.
All that remained of our empire's obligation was to see the woman safely on board a steam ship.
And yet, the very day before her departure, the Englishwoman was killed. Only the day before?
That will do. Satisfy the counsel for the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant.
Oh, fuck. Thank you, Your Excellency. The first hurdle. Bro, if I wouldn't be mad if Susato dressed like this the whole game. That would be pretty sick. That would be pretty cool.
Prosecutor Ouchie.
As is your wish, Your Excellency. The repugnant crime took place on the 11th August, in broad daylight. Damn, she got smoked on the beach? Crab. On the outskirts of the imperial capital, under a bright blue sky, at a secluded bathing spot by the sea.
Who was building the sandcastle?
The incident occurred inside a small beach hut, erected for bathers to rest or change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lung. An injury which proved fatal.
Their alternate outfits? Yeah, I saw them when we started up the last game. I was gonna recheck them out for this. Maybe when we get to a TBC, if we ever get one to this, for this case.
There were 2 persons alone together in the beach hut at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett, in her bathing attire, and the accused, Ray Membami. Accordingly, there can be no doubt of the accused's guilt, especially when we consider that she had a powerful motive. The police arrived rapidly at the scene, promptly arrested the young lady.
So you guys are stupid then, huh? Well, that extraordinary description of events leaves me somewhat lost for words, I must say.
Certainly true. The prosecution summary was full of words that raise an awful lot of questions. Like victim, stabbed, and the. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up where the prosecution counsel about what he's on what he ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about the bathing spot. I mean, all of these seem pretty good. If I may, Prosecutor Ouchie, what do you want, you fresh-faced young yokel student? I wonder, could you explain, please? You mentioned a bathing spot. Ha! My apologies. Clearly my modernity has confused the poor country bumpkin's simple mind.
Are we taking shots for classism now, too?
You bald fuck. Bathing spots are the very latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skins. No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder. Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea? Oh. For old time's sake, I believe.
Sorry?
Miss Brett was to depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast. Then the British Embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply. But on what grounds would we agree to such a request?
Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up to foreign powers. In matters of diplomacy, it seems we don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal.
Don't look at me, Professor. It was the government who granted permission, not I. In any case, it was decided that with a dedicated detective on duty, nothing could go wrong.
But in fact, a murder took place. Seems like you kind of fucked up, so,
I said don't look at me. It was that young student girl who did it, not I.
No one has proved that yet.
I wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to.
He's bald. At this stage, I need to gather more information, I think. As a lawyer, I really ought to... Okay, so yeah, it's just going to be go through all of them.
What did you mean by that?
Membami-san.
Yes, what is it? I mean,
Naruhodo. Really starting to wish we made my alias Ryutaro Susato. Please tell the court exactly why you were present at the bathing spot with the victim in the first place, and why you were alone with her. Oh, well, no, that's not true. It wasn't like that at all. Were other people present? A detective who was guarding Miss Brett, for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Brett as a companion, that's all.
But let us be clear. At the moment of her death, you were alone together with the victim in the hut. You and no one else. The truth is, there was only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett on her bathing sojourn. It was the accused's last chance to take the victim's life.
No, I had plenty of times to take her life.
Because, as we know, the following day would see Miss Brett extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai. And the accused would never have an opportunity to dispatch her again.
Kindly refrain from conjecture, counsel.
The prosecution counsel seems to enjoy using provocative tricks like that. But for now, at least, we need to assemble more facts. Try not to let him go, do you?
Dear, this is really terrifying. But Father's right. We need more information. As a lawyer, I really ought to... Okay, yeah.
Powerful motive. What did you mean by that?
You're clearly exaggerating. Powerful motive is a blatant overstatement.
Is the Yoko boy using long words he doesn't fully understand?
Beg your pardon?
No matter. Let us put this to the accused, shall we? Mbami, you are a research assistant at the Imperial Yume University, I believe.
Yes, I am. I'm working with Professor Mikotoba in his laboratory at the moment.
I can confirm that. The defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility.
Fascinating to hear. Anyways, another question. Prior to your work with Professor Mikotoba, whose research were you assisting then?
Oh, I was studying under John H. Wilson.
Dr. Wilson? The visiting English professor who was murdered by Miss Brett 9 months ago.
The accused had deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Mr. Wilson. Dr. Wilson. Is that not true?
Yes, Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man.
Interesting. And tell the court what deep-seated feelings you had toward the Englishwoman who killed him. Well, obviously I was filled with hatred for what she had done. A powerful hatred. Oh no. Yo, shut the fuck up over there. The motive was revenge. Plain and simple, Your Excellency. I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now. Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration, instead continuing her research work at the university. Obviously, over that period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions. Seeing the murderer of the mentor for whom she had such great respect, enjoying undeserved liberty. Yes, even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai. You can hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment. Ray. So, Your Excellency, if you'd be so kind as to peruse this exhibit. Photographic print shows the entire scene of the crime following the grim incident. Damn, get her on a t-shirt. Also, can't really tell too much from here. She had multiple masks. That's a terrible masks. Also, did somebody rip through this and stab her in the back when she was sitting down? Why did this bottle not spill? Was it empty? Thank you, Counsel. Tragic image. Also, one thing to note, when they had that, like, remembering of black and white prints from the previous, in the previous Case 1, we didn't have that show up again. That kind of feels like it was a cheap gimme for the Case 1, and I really hope they don't do that again. That would kind of fucking suck. As you can clearly see, there is nowhere within the hut that anyone else could have hidden. Court will accept this photographic print as evidence. Photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. As I understand it then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. This is deeply troubling, I must say. The finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant. Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to its case. We intend to prove the accused's appalling actions beyond all possible contention, excuse me. To that end, I can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence. Well, I mean, that's what the autopsy report said. One of whom, I might add, is a highly respected police detective. Hosonaga? Get that sick man out here. I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt. Very well then, Counsel, bring forth your witnesses. Takatsuchi Ouchie. I've been waiting for this moment. Sorry? Oh yes, I haven't forgotten. That trial 9 months ago, here in this very courthouse, when that irreverent little student boy utterly humiliated me. Yeah, you got fucked on. Bro, you got dumpstered by 2 students. It wasn't even that one student boy. Technically, it was this student boy. This guy shit on you. strike the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut, and the bell of cultural enlightenment tolls. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died. The start of your own mini Meiji revolution. Are you modernizing as well, Council? Silence! Since I swore revenge back then, there has been a minor miracle atop my head. Observe the ouchy growth. Bro, pick up a hobby, like collecting bottle caps. You gotta find something different. That tiny growth is trying to tell me something. I'm afraid I can't really see. Where is the hope exactly? I said silence! Today I face another Yoko student of the Naruhodo clan. Well, I will vanquish you. And my victory will be the fertilizer for the seed of hope atop of my head. You have been warned. With that, the prosecution calls the witnesses to the stand.
It looks like the stakes are high on both sides of this trial. The prosecution and defense each has much to lose.
A haircut is hardly comparable to Rei's life. Come on, Hosonaga. Yeah! Oh shit, it's fucking Soseki. Soseki Natsume. Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court.
Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected.
He's got a turtle. He has tied a turtle to his head. And I am, well, the next big thing in books. An author renowned throughout the capital. In fact, yes. Soon to be sold out, the satirical I Am a Cat, a sensational success by Soseki Natsume.
Oh my goodness.
Struggling student from the provinces, please. You needn't be in awe of me.
I needn't. I Am a Cat is an actual book, so it's neat to see this thrown in. Is it really?
It's only natural that you'd feel nervous in my presence, but all of you, please relax. Call me Soseki even.
I was planning on it. Yeah. What on earth is Soseki doing here?
Tread carefully, Susato. That author fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, then this will be over before it's begun.
Yes, of course. I know. Presume Soseki won't have forgotten about me. I certainly never forget him. Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months or so that it's been since I last saw him. And as for Inspector Hosonaga, amazing outfit is hard to believe.
The turtle is real.
I have something on my face.
Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either.
I suppose it's this disguise, is it?
Well, it's the turtle, mainly.
I thought that appearing here in clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. It is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly.
Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. But what business does a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Soseki? Ah, well, you see, I had been asked that day to give a lecture. On the morning of the incident, in the Imperial Yume University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less.
At Yume University?
Wait. After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the Medical Science Department. The professor over there, in fact.
With Professor Mikotoba!
Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or other about 2 former students who studied in Great Britain.
Of course! Being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone. secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy. Yo, paparazzi man back there going off. Yo, look at him go. Also, what's with the blue on his hand? Don't tell me this guy is gonna end up being the fucking murderer, right? Like, no shot. Zero shot. As you can see, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies. Thank you very much. He practically threw that paper at me. Well, the debate became quite spirited. I thought it was just a fucking interview. Anyway, following my interview with the professor... Hold it. Bro, what is going on here? Are you karate chopping him in the throat? What happened? Also, bike. Look at that guy go. He's so happy. Cat. Also, wait a minute. Why does it look like it's cracked? Is the lens of the camera cracked? Can't flip it over though, can I? Because I only have the magnifying glass. Yeah, I can't WASD. Anywho. The lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. Those were her words. As I explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my lab, under strict surveillance, of course. At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance. And the response was, permit Miss Brett to go as long as the detective accompanies her. That detective I am at liberty to divulge was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Kosunaga. Wait, did he get a promotion? Was he always Chief Inspector? He was just Inspector before, right? Thereby the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems. It was extremely challenging to clear all other members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. No blood? No, he's bleeding again. But fortunately, I'm at peak physical fitness at the moment, so I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly. Oh my. Inspector, you... Well, you do have something on your face now. How unsightly. I do apologize. Does that mean you went to the beach too, Father? No. Fortunately, I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that, as my assistant, Ray was invited to take my place. Of course, belonging to a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. But only if I had, I'd never have seen that awful sight. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret. Guy's going crazy back there. Very well. Must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. You will give an account of all that you witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast. Of course, Your Excellency. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret, I am. What's going on, Mayor? How you doing? We are starting pretty late, or we started pretty late too, so no big issue. Witness scene. The day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a caterwaul. A caterwaul? I have no idea what that is. I ran to the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question. That young girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. Do we have the murder weapon in question? It does appear that from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. The very moment of this heinous crime. What? Now, if you will recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes, that was it. Damning evidence. What have you there, Counsel? So-called fountain pen, is it? Correct, Your Excellency. I found her at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength, the victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer. What? Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more. Ah, goodness me! Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. Osanaga shouldn't be protecting anyone. Isn't this the second body he caught under his watch? Almost the third if you want to count John H. Wilson, because he was supervising the restaurant. That's right, the fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. Ah, the owner's initials have been engraved into the ebonite barrel. RM. Now we're just jumping it. That could be any RM, right? That could be real musty. You know? Be Rich Mandingo. There's a lot of options. It doesn't have to be Remember Me, right? Initials of the defendant. Don't copy him too hard there. Hey, mind you, just cut it out. It could stand for real murder. Yeah, it could mean anything. Even Ray Membami. So, have I omitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence. There's bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel. Understand. Prosecutor Outchief 9 months ago had none of this man's poise. Counsel for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now. Naruhodo. Naruhodo. That means... Oh, yeah, that's me. Is there any other Naruhodo in my courtroom? Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom. Cousin Ryotaro, pull yourself together, please. I've seen this countless times as judicial assistant. Find inconsistencies in the witness's testimony to prove that they're lying somehow. You close to the ending anytime soon? No. Ending stream, I mean? Ah, maybe. Maybe in a little bit. Why? What's up? Got somewhere to be? At 9 p.m. on a Sunday? Also, one thing I am noticing is, not dropping a lot of frames, which I'm kind of happy about. Even comparatively to, like, normal streams where Comcast isn't fucking me. So this Ethernet over power situation might have just fixed it. I think at this point now, I would have dropped like over like 1,000 some odd frames. But it's only at 138, which is not too bad. I have no... We'll see throughout the week if the situation stays like this, right? But as it stands right now, pretty good. So let's see what I can do. Alright. Was the last one. Oh, excuse me. Deep stab wound, but only wound, not multiple times, so...
Objection!
Oh, she feeling herself. That accusatory cry that just welled up from deep inside me, I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma and Naruhodo have stood here at this bench, stakes have been very, very high indeed. Is this her specific track? Or is this the, is this like the objection theme now? Objection 2017, Ryotaro, Naruhodo? Oh, so it's hers. And I wonder how many times he's gonna play, because this is actually pretty nice. What's the meaning of that menacing pose, Counsel? I'd like the witness to clarify something for me. Who? What? Where? When? How? Not you, Soseki. This query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga. At me? In your statement just now, you said that the victim was stabbed multiple times. Yes, that's right. As I said when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand, like a murderous demon. What happened in Naruhodo? He was killed. And yet, that cannot be. Got shot at the end of the last game. What? Get to the point, please, Counsel. In the post-mortem report, it clearly states, the victim was stabbed one time only. In other words, Inspector Hosonaga's testimony is clearly flawed. And Soseki, me? You claim to have seen Mimbani in the throes of stabbing the victim. Yes, I did! Wildly! But both you and the inspector have confirmed the same point. Oh, the other one was an overture to the blossoming attorney, and this is objection? Oh, well. They're still both nice. Also weird that they would give her 2 tracks. I assume that means that she's going to be presenting a little bit more often in court, but maybe not really? But there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding. Yes, and... Oh wait, I see his face and I think he's talking. It's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there is no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred. True! And what exactly is your contention, Counsel? Are you ever going to tell us? Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. What Soseki in fact saw was not the moment the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body. That can't be! Excellent work, Susato. You exploded them with that objection, and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically.
Objection!
Ouchie. Well, this takes me back.
Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in that trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection, attempting to steal the show.
You're right. There were certain similarities. Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who only has half a head of hair.
There was just no need, like, yeah, he's bald. You didn't have to do that, though. Like, what the fuck? Come on, bro.
Slander! My head is quite adequately dressed. In any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing multiple wounds. It makes not a jot of difference.
What? Why not?
Engage your brain, young man. When the accused first plunged the deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. And it was at that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood, because the accused had already stabbed the victim.
Ah, shit.
And as you have successfully shown with your little display, is that mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance.
Why is it like people are getting shot in the court? Why did Naruhodo do it, and why is she doing it now?
I am in agreement with the prosecution. The defendant was seen wielding the blade at all. That is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion.
But if she was withdrawing the blade...
And we are back where we started.
Sorry?
Consider this, young yokel boy. Parry the platypus. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim? And with a demon's cold-blooded composure, too. The prosecution demands an explanation. It had better be good.
Why did Ray pull out the knife?
Yes, going for the jugular.
What does Father mean by that?
Let the court hear your answer then, counsel.
Truth is, I don't really know. But I have to come up with a plausible reason here, or we don't have a case. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could stab her again. If the damage wasn't real, I would click stab her again in a heartbeat. According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant.
That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury.
Indeed, giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer.
The point is, being a medical research student, Mimbami was compelled to act when faced with the wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled a blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life.
It got very quiet. I am scared.
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? It would seem that this is the best we can expect of the young yokel.
Indeed.
Is it just me, or does it suddenly feel much colder in here?
Your Excellency, if I may. Speak, witness. I would like another opportunity to testify. In respect to the slipshod assertion just put forward by the yokel defense counsel.
Slipshod?
An excellent idea, Inspector. Our young yokel has hopefully a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in a matter of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense.
Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. Will testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion. Yes, sir. I will do so flawlessly.
We go again. Forensic medicine. Oh no. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. Oh fuck. It's not a hat, it's a real it's a real turtle. He's just chilling up there. Look at him go. As basic knowledge, any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. Is what you just said true, Inspector? Did pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily? Depending on the wound, yes. Think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Until the doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper shouldn't be removed. Oh. Fuck. Ah, this is why Yoko should stay on the farm. Even a quack from some obscure mountain village wouldn't have such a basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows. How? Wait a minute. Oh. Well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see? Or pulled a blade out of a wound, so...
Of course you have. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit.
Father, is it true what they're telling me?
Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge knowledge for medics. They would have been very well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways.
But then, why would Ray have done it? Would she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Brett?
I don't know.
May never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe, but... could my friend actually have...
Susato?
Yes?
Pull yourself together. We mustn't lose sight of why we're here.
Ah.
Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards.
I understand. Being your client and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard. Pulling a blade from a wound. What do you guys? No, don't put ellipses. Don't put. You need that for reasons. I need that for reasons. You might not need it. I need that for a reason. All right. What was I fucking saying? All right. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. Yeah, we know about the motive. Yeah, she would probably know. Yes.
Hold it!
But the defendant had suddenly encountered somebody she knew lying on the ground bleeding to death. The sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently.
I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would behave so irrationally.
Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it? Damn. Back-to-back screenshots? That's crazy.
dear. You have a lot to learn about women. Only a small-minded man could have such bigoted views.
Dear, perhaps I'm letting my male persona take hold a little too much.
Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? That should cover the medical side of the argument.
Not forget the young student did have a motive.
What do I have in the court record?
Got the pen. I can't examine it. This doesn't give me anything though, right? I can't look at this. Fucking Misogyny Monday. So did the swan get folded too? I'm kind of confused here. I guess I just fucking press?
Hold it!
Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Mimbami's talent and offered her the position of an assistant despite her being a woman. She was extremely grateful to him.
Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual. Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He was met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Mimbani's abilities. Clearly, the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point.
I guess not. This is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in his testimony anywhere. If Ray knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further, I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it.
Sato, it's a time like these especially important to remember the fundamentals.
The fundamentals?
Evidence is what counts in the courtroom, isn't it?
Of course, but I've been through the court record dozens of times already. Like maybe twice, but, you know.
I think perhaps you're forgetting something. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail.
Did I not just fucking do that? Okay, so this just must be the tutorial. I know what to do, old man.
At the look in your eyes, I see it's coming back to you. Go through the court record and have a thorough look at everything. You may just find a clue.
Yes, I'll do it straight away. I can't imagine. It's got to be the pen, right? There's some sort of emblem here, look. But it isn't a Yume University one.
It must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind. But that would seem to imply the pen doesn't in fact belong to Ray.
Ladies and gentlemen, we bottom. But that isn't gonna fucking help. Oh, fuck you. Hair growth tonic. This is the newspaper from Soseki. There seems to be an important article on the back page as well. Exclusive, deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Lab. Yume's Medical Research. Father, isn't that your lab?
What the... Let me see that. The poison's been...
Well, you had poison available to steal? Why? It's this morning's paper that Soseki gave us. Are you saying you didn't know?
As embarrassing as that is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information?
Come to think of it, There was no article mentioning this story in our paper this morning, was there?
It's a highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest confidence. I put Ray in charge of the project.
Ray, she was managing it.
If what's written here is true, it means that she tried to hide the theft from me. And moreover, the details were leaked somehow.
I don't believe it.
We need to read this article very carefully.
Read that damn poison article. Following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsume on the 11th of August, it's come to light that a very disturbing incident took place. A deadly poison being secretly developed in the university's forensic science laboratory was stolen. Even the smallest amount entering the body, either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade, would prove fatal in minutes. Ooh, current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Onset of symptoms occur in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and end with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. Okay, so she was poisoned. Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids, and rumored to have been commissioned by the military. And you didn't have this shit under fucking 8 locks and keys? Bro, what were you doing? Poison-laced blade, or via the mouth. Okay. So quite literally the same the same way she went out. Damn. Alright, so I assume then that that this would be it, right? Because if it was a poison-laced blade, it's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Objection!
No, there is one possibility. One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound.
What?
Ha! The yokel not only has a poor grasp of the law, but is also a poor loser.
Don't you have some hair to grow?
Tell us then, what possibility do you think you've identified?
It's here, in this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from the laboratory at the Imperial Yume University.
Objection!
The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance in this case.
We'll fight back. Prosecutor Ouchie, you will let the defense speak.
What a newspaper article? The court cannot rely on such hearsay of those wretched publications carry.
Counsel for the defense. I'm going to need some tangible basis for your claim. You will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentioned affirms your assertion.
Your Excellency!
Yes, of course. Thank you. They would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says, "Deadly in tiny quantities. Why is the poison being developed?" The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with the poison, it's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes. Are you suggesting? If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Mbami, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body.
Objection!
This is utter and complete nonsense.
Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body to not accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life, and the prosecution cannot deny the possibility.
Have you not read this post-mortem report? The cause of death was hemorrhage.
The word poison appears nowhere in the document.
Well, that's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking hold.
Objection!
Oh, please, this is clearly desperation. The weasel's last breaking of wind. Poison has nothing to do whatsoever with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware. We have no proof that the information in this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyway.
In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive. But instead, you claim she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions then, or the argument makes no sense.
Exactly. Well put, Inspector. On what grounds did she do it, Yoku?
Why did Ray suspect the stolen poison was involved? If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds.
Meet a coffee shop.
What?
You can't possibly.
From your expression, Counsel, it would appear those are not empty words. But naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware that words alone, empty or not, are of no value in our modern justice system. The court demands evidence.
Yes, Your Excellency. I'm well aware of that. I've seen it many times, from my place at his side in the Old Bailey.
In that case, Counsel, we present the proof to the court now. What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case and the poison in the newspaper article?
First one.
Take that!
Oh, she still has the book. I would ask the court to refer to the notes section of the postmortem report, which reads, extreme meiosis, pupil constriction, was observed in the victim. Clearly, being a yokel with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea, so please do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the postmortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death.
Well,
Under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. If there was extreme constriction instead, that's most certainly unusual, yes.
what are you doing, you yokel detective?
In the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison. Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death.
What?
If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely,
Yes, as medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately, without doubt.
Prosecutor Ouchie, I think you'll agree. This is very compelling evidence.
Yokel student and yokel professor.
I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions.
No.
Yujin Mikotoba? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. You will tell the court the truth about the details reported in this newspaper, please. It pains me to have to admit it. I'm afraid I don't know. You don't know. The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly. I was unaware of any theft. You mean to tell the court that reports of this theft are unfounded? No, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say.
Listen to the bumbling academic. Unaware of the theft of secret state research from his own workplace until he reads of it in the newspaper.
I take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision.
Father, Pitiful situation for a university professor. You should have more control over your students, rather than allowing them off in killing sprees. I mean, okay. So, spree implies more than one, right? Oh, hey, Ray. None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault. It's all my fault. Ray.
Mimbami, stand accused here. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated.
But it was me. I was the one who noticed that the poison we were developing had been stolen that day.
What?
So you knew. I'd been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Soseki were interviewed together for the newspaper. That's when I noticed some of the poison was missing. Just a tiny amount it was.
Why didn't you let me know immediately?
I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So I decided I'd try to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was. The thief? You don't mean... Yes, of course. It was that dainty Englishwoman.
Miss Giselle Brett.
That's why I decided to join the little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. She just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly as if she knew she was untouchable. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean? And then she suddenly got to her feet, before falling to her knees in front of me and...
Hey, yo.
Then collapsing on the floor. Oh, well, I mean... When I saw the knife in her back, I couldn't understand what had just happened, and then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes they'd shrunk to tiny pinpoints.
Don't believe it. In other words, you realized that the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison.
My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips while I'd been with her, which left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. The blade of the knife in her back.
That train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade.
Yes. If the amount had entered her bloodstream was small enough, she might still have a chance. That's what I hoped. Really, I'm so sorry for staying silent all this time.
Your attempt to hide the truth of what has happened is not something that can be overlooked. However, I have duly noted the courage in which you have confessed in the end.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It's barely perceptible, but I do think the balance has shifted a little here, this courtroom.
Objection!
Your Excellency, do not be deceived. The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say? Well, Mimbami, if that is the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed. Well, with a knife, you see, if it's sharp enough... You have no answer because the simplest truth is that you stabbed the victim motivated by revenge.
Objection!
But you have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you? Oh, I have evidence, and it is very much conclusive. What's the prosecution counsel up to? It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there, almost sure of it.
You'll produce the aforementioned evidence at once, Prosecutor Ouchie.
Perhaps some praise is due, young yokel student. What?
I'd imagine there would be no need for me to submit this evidence. But you brought this on yourself.
Well, I mean, also this is the first time you can see her face, or her eyes rather. Well, I mean, the top half of her you know what I fucking mean.
Could a more damning shot exist? The cruelty in the air on that beach is almost palpable. This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused's murderous nature. For it shows the precise moment that Mimbami plunged her dagger into the victim's back.
No, that's not true. No. I don't believe it.
Ugh.
You think Hosonaga caked up back there?
Counsel for the defense, was it you who was responsible for that shrill scream that just pierced my courtroom?
Perhaps his voice is yet to break. These yokels are slow of mind and slow to mature.
Show you who's slow to mature.
Careful now, Susato was starting to show her face here. It is often said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And here we have ample proof. The court will accept this extremely cogent photographic print as evidence.
The incriminating photograph.
Oh boy. Can't believe he's had a photograph like that up his sleeve the entire time. Where did you get it? Because it looks like it's coming through the shack. It's such a stark image, I'm genuinely lost for words. Wait a minute, I don't understand. How did you... I mean, who took that photograph? Also, yeah, let me look. Does it have a crack in it? Motherfucker. Are you dumb? Okay, well...
Objection!
That's of no importance here. Stop trying to divert attention.
Oh.
Objection!
No one matters. That's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photographic print was a witness to Miss Brett's death. There we go. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony.
I will uphold the defense's demand. The prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once.
Well, I'm afraid I can't do that.
Pardon?
You see, this print arrived at the Imperial Police Bureau headquarters by express post yesterday. But there was nothing to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of the print is unknown.
Goodness.
We to understand then, Counsel, that in full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the murkiest of origin, we nevertheless believe it fit for submission as evidence in the Supreme Court.
You first produced that print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment. Because you knew that it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you?
Silence, you yokel student and blabbering professor. What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expresses.
The defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound. Clearly this isn't the moment that the knife was plunged into the victim's back, but...
the moment it was withdrawn? Don't waste this court's time with your ramblings.
Indeed, without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim. And the scene it captures is without doubt the most compelling evidence presented to the court.
Okay, we're just gonna skip by the fact that we don't know who the fuck took this picture?
If the defense is unable to shed any further light on the matter, I believe the conclusion is clear.
Oh no.
Susato, This is the time for you to fight. If what you've established so far is true, there can be no doubt. This photograph shows the moment Wei withdrew the blade from the victim.
Yes, we just need to prove that somehow.
You'll have plenty of time to rue your defeat on the slow train back to the provinces. And to rue the day you came up against Takatsuchi Ouchi in the court of law.
I can't determine who took this photograph, and the trial is going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it.
Well, Counsel?
Your Excellency, the burning question is who took that photograph. And the truth is, I do have the answer. This isn't about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. I simply have to. The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal.
What? No, you can't possibly. But as you so boldly claim that you can, please, do enlighten us.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name.
That's a great way to lead. They surely believe us now.
How utterly underwhelming. Did you really believe you could...
However, I am able to present evidence. The defense has a piece of evidence that reveals important details about the photographer's identity.
What?
Very well then, Counsel. Present your proof to the court. Oh, accidentally clicked off the window. Piece of evidence you claim reveals something about the identity of the mystery photographer.
Take that!
What is that? The newspaper again? Raucus? I have no idea how to say that word. Chat room, I'm very dumb. Raucus? 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 I think it's raucous, right? England returnees tell all.
It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. If you look at it closely, you'll notice that there are some white lines on the right-hand side.
Yes, indeed. It already caught my eye as it happens.
Ah, what of it? Shadow of some kind, presumably, from the branches of a tree or the like.
There are no trees growing inside my Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what's fucking me up with that word, right? That word right there, the one that's lab extended, there is one reason and one reason alone why I say laboratory instead of laboratory. And it's not Dexter's, right? It's not Dexter's lab, right? I say laboratory because of the fucking SpongeBob episode where fucking Plankton is like bringing SpongeBob into the chum bucket and he's like, "This is my lab," and it shows a picture of a dog and then he goes, "And this is my laboratory." For some reason that has mentally fucked me up for years and I can't say laboratory. I have to say laboratory. Forever, it just fucked me up.
Now, if you look closely at this photograph, every time it makes you laugh.
Gracious.
Yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present on this photograph too.
Objection!
Well, that tells us nothing. Ha! Yes, it's a shadow of some kind, definitely. From the branches of a tree.
There wouldn't be any trees growing inside a hut at the beach, Council.
Fucked in. Quite remarkable about it is the two patterns are absolutely identical. How could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired?
The curious matching pattern that appears on both photographic prints is a result of
some tree branches. I'll let it go.
Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs.
With the photographic device?
Yes, we can confidently say that the camera's lens must be scratched.
and that the scratch lens caused unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device.
In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera.
What? There must be hundreds of such camera devices here in the capital. It would be utterly impossible to identify the owner of this particular one. Who submitted the picture for the fucking article?
Objection!
I think you're forgetting, I almost said Professor, Prosecutor Ouchie, that one of the photographs featured in a newspaper article.
A newspaper?
Ah! That's right. The author of that article is the mysterious witness to this crime.
Get fucked on. What? Fuck with that. I see why you were called a raucous England returnee. What are you yelling about? You've already testified. It's...
Many memo? Many memo. Mini memo? I don't know. I think it's mini memo, right? That makes phonetic sense to me. Mini memo.
Mini memo!
Soseki, what was that? Did you say mini memo?
Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. A reporter by the name of Wrighton Mini...
Yeah, it's definitely mini memo. Writing mini memo?
Writing mini memo. Fucking hate it here. Yes, hounding me from dawn till dusk.
Now that he mentions it... Would that same reporter be...
A camera to the left of him, a notebook to the right. There I am, struck in the middle with...
Fucking okay. Camera to the left of me, notebook to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
Love that song. So you're saying that this picture was taken by Mini Memo, yes! My lord, your excellency, Esquire. Officer, find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom. We will adjourn for a short recess in the meantime.
Oh, yes, your excellency.
As you say, your excellency. And one more thing. I want this knife, the murder weapon, examined for traces of poison. Will solicit the assistance of the Imperial University's medical department for the task. Understood?
What the fuck is...
Stop screaming his name.
Ooh.
I think there would be a good stopping point, too. I like this jingle better. I like this jingle more than the game 1 jingle. I think it's a better jingle. But we are going to back out. Yeah. 13th August, 10:41 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Defendants in Chamber 3. Yeah, we know. Options. Back to title. Don't save. Yes. They just saved. Alright. And we're in the courtroom still. Makes sense? Special contents. Let's look at these costumes. So we have Iris's homemade suit, which now I guess makes a little bit more sense. I like that it doesn't change the katana at all. Iris's homemade dress for Susato. That is quite literally Iris. Shom's Japanese jumble mix? What the fuck? I don't know if I like this. This makes me uncomfortable. It's primarily the fact that he's still wearing the mask. That's spooky. Alright, y'all. I think that's gonna be the end for me today. Was a little bit of a later stream, but I mean, this was primarily a test to see if this Ethernet over power adapter that I got was going to be good, and it looks like it's pretty good. Over the course of 3 hours, normally I would be expected to drop anywhere from like what, 3 to 20,000 frames. And I'm actually thoroughly surprised that I've only dropped 180. It's my first time ending a stream at this time and seeing 0.0% on drop frames. So I think this, even though it ran me fucking 120 bucks, you know, I think this is a fine alternative. So I'm very happy. Hopefully it keeps up for the future. If not, then it's going right the fuck back to Best Buy, boys. But we got a few days before I have to do that, so we'll be seeing throughout the week if it's good. But for now, I'm going to take off. I'd like to thank you all very much for coming out to the end of Game 1 and the beginning of Game 2. I was thoroughly pleased with the ending of Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Great Ace Attorney Adventures. I think that's what it was. It was GA. And I'm actually very excited for the future of Ace Attorney 2, or Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. That seems like it's going to be cool. But for now, I'd like to give a shout out over to Ab for sticking with us for the 8 months, JCW for sticking with us for the 10 months in a row, or 10 months in total, and Sushi for sticking with us for the 13 months in a row. And of course, all of the rest of you guys are coming out for this rather late stream tonight. But until next time, I'll catch you guys later. But until then, peace.